Namaste, namaste, and welcome to this Saturday morning yoga. Our last one before Easter, as it's Easter Saturday today, and before the break. But we have a lovely practice celebration of the coming sunshine. We're going to base our practice around a sun salutation. But before we get started with that, come into a comfortable seated spot. Perhaps you want to give your hips a little bit of a lift. I might do that today on a block, or take an alternative sitting pose. You could try kneeling or sitting in a chair if you wanted to. The important thing here is a little opportunity to lift the spine. So taking your time to find a posture that works for you. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes, and if you prefer, you can gaze gently downward. Spend a moment allowing your body to organize itself, feeling the support from the parts of the body that are on the floor, lifting the crown of the head upwards without gripping or holding rigid in any part of the body. And now you've arrived in your yoga space, just close the door on the rest of the goings on of the house, of your day, of your week. And bring your awareness to this time, this space. Turn your attention inwards and observe how your body is feeling today. Observe the areas of the body that perhaps need a little bit of extra care or attention throughout the class. Observe the quieter spaces where the body is at ease. Notice if by that simple stepping onto your mat with your awareness switched on, you can soften the effort from your face, your jaw, your shoulders. And then bring your awareness to your breathing. Just note how your breath is flowing naturally. Perhaps it's quite passive, quite shallow. When you're ready, you can begin to deepen your breath by gently drawing your abdominal muscles in at the end of your exhalation. And then breathing more deeply and fully into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. And as you breathe out, breathing out slowly, deeply, completely, using that little engagement across the navel for help. Breathing deeply into the sides of the body, the back, the chest. Breathing slowly, fully, completely out. Continue breathing in this way. Feel that each breath in fills the space, maybe even lifts your body a little taller. Each breath out, softening the face, the shoulders, releasing the breath deeply, emptying fully, drawing the navel in. Taking a few more of these deeper breaths. Today, you will find Ujjayi quite useful. So if you are practiced in Ujjayi, you can switch it on, develop a Ujjayi breath. That's the soft snoring breath. almost like you were whispering ah or ha, but with your mouth closed. And as you practice Ujjayi, see if you can still feel that sense of filling and lifting as you inhale, softening, releasing, and exhaling fully as you exhale. And don't worry if you don't know what Ujjayi is, just continue to breathe deeply. That's all good. So you can leave your Ujjayi on as much as you would like during the class, and we'll switch it off again at relaxation. And don't worry if it's not on all of the time, that's quite natural. A little rest from Ujjayi is always good. So here, gently taking your chin towards your chest, feeling that length down the back of the neck, breathing as is natural for you, rolling the right ear towards the right shoulder, and the chin back to the chest, left ear to left shoulder, and chin to chest. A few times in each direction, exploring the connection between the head, the neck, the shoulders, the chest, the back. And then the next time you come to your right side, just finding somewhere to stop, somewhere that feels like you're just on the cusp of exploring some new space, perhaps. And breathe here. Let the breath do the exploring for you. Find your way. And then drawing the chin back to the chest, rolling to the opposite side. Same again, just finding somewhere to stop. It doesn't need to be particularly intense. It's probably better if it's not. Exploring with your breath. And then releasing the chin back to the chest, bringing the head up and opening your eyes if you haven't already. And then we're just going to free the hands so that we can roll our shoulders a little bit. And going in both directions, of course. And then when you're ready, you can begin to explore further down the body. So allow those connections to be strengthened by your experience of them directly. So if you want to move the arms independently, you can. If you want to explore how the arm movements come into the torso, that's great. We're just working down the body towards the hips, doing anything that feels good to you. So whatever kind of wriggling feels useful. If you're rotating, take care to go in both directions. And exploring both sides. Now you've limbered your neck, allowing your neck to move quite freely with your movements. Going both ways. Feeling that sense of the body moves as a whole. The ripple of one movement can move into other parts of the body as well. Perhaps a little twisting through the torso. Doesn't have to be anything particularly exciting. Just a little twisting, a little side bending. We're going to come back to this as well shortly. And then freeing your legs if you'd like to. You can free one at a time or both at the same time, rolling the knees together and apart if that feels comfortable. A nice way to sort of prepare the hips and go in both directions. And then taking your opportunity to work perhaps into a little forward bending. You might want to bring the soles of the feet together to open up the inner thighs, do a little waving of the torso from side to side or rocking on your hips, whatever feels good here. So it's allowing you to explore your body in a way that's useful for the practice ahead. And so take a few more moments just to wriggle through any spaces that need wriggling through. And we'll come back to things like downward facing dog, which will help to open up the hamstrings and the back line of the body. So don't worry, this is not your only opportunity to limber. Our first sun salutation will be quite slow. And we're going to do a little bit more focused seated limbering as well. So when you're ready, you can gather your feet back in, crossing the right leg in front of the left, aces, and just allow yourself a little stillness so you can absorb all of the practice that we've done so far, all of those movements, those wrigglings, those pandiculations. I love that word. Sorry, just love it. And then we're going to reach the arms up over the head so that the arms are wide as if you were carrying a big beach ball, firm in the belly and circling the upper body. So circling your heart around where your sit bones are. A little bit backwards and forwards, side to side. And let your legs move as is needed. Don't try to keep your legs rigid. We're going the opposite direction as well. Great stuff. And then we're going to take the right hand down to the right and reach the left arm over and just open the chest, press into the right hand a little, open the chest as you look up and then draw the chest towards the right thigh, just a touch. We're not aiming for a full forward bend, we're rolling backwards and forwards through the torso, exploring that side of the body, the left side underneath the armpit, perhaps towards the bottom of the ribs as well. And again, stopping wherever it's useful to explore with your breath. Maybe switching your Ujjayi on for that. And then from here, we can release the left arm down, but we're going to roll onto our, we're going to slide and roll. So watching if you're not sure, we're going to slide the right arm down, roll onto our backs and the knees are into the chest and just do a little circling of the knees. And then floating the feet to the floor one at a time, arms can be wide, swaying the knees from side to side. And you're not trying to get anywhere in particular, but if you want to develop into a fuller twist, a more full twist, you can. And if having the knees apart is just not suiting you today, you can have the knees more together. So I'm going to do this with my knees a little bit more together today. And then coming back to the center, taking the feet apart, if they're not already, elbows down by the sides, rolling the backs of the arms, the shoulder blades, the back of the head into the floor, and lifting in the chest, and then pressing into the heels, firming the buttocks and lifting the hips up. And we're just going to roll up and down. So a few up and down bridges, keeping that focus in the upper body constant, and then engaging the buttocks as needed to lift and softening as you lower. A few more gentle rolling bridges. And then releasing the hips to the floor, allowing the knees to go to the right side, rolling to your right side, and then pressing up into sitting, and you'll come up in mermaid pose, so or deer pose, your knees are separated, and you know what I mean. Good job. Like this, the left foot is back, the right foot's across the body. Fantastic stuff. So here we'll bring our robot arms or cactus arms into bed, and we're going to rotate to the left and then come back to center, place the right hand down, lift the hips, and just make a circle with the left arm. Just one. Coming back to the hips being on the floor, robot arms, rotating to the left, back to the center, place the right hand down, lifting the hips and reaching up and over. We'll do one more like this. Rotate to the left, back to center, right hand down, firming the buttocks, lifting the hips for a nice big expansive circle. And then swinging the left leg forward, you come back to sitting with your left leg in front of your right. And we just take a moment to find our seat, and then we do the whole thing again to the other side. And that rotate, I don't know where that came from. I think it's the robot arms made it rotate. Twist is what I mean. Okay, let's reach the arms up and soften the shoulders down. Feel that your arms as wide apart as you need to have them lifted, but the shoulder blades working down. And then circling the upper body. Firming in the belly, allowing the upper body to rotate around the sit bones. I can't remember if we went in both directions on the other side. So if we didn't, let's just reverse on this side as well to go in the other direction. If I was coordinated, we would have done one rotation on one side and one on the other. Who knows? Okay. Coming back to the center, reaching the left arm down and reaching the right arm over. We just do a little bend to the left. And then opening your chest as you move your right shoulder backwards and rolling through that side of the body to bring the right shoulder forwards. So just opening, rolling backwards and forwards, trying not to lift the left shoulder towards the left ear too much. Exploring that space. It's almost like a massage on the right side of the back, underneath the shoulder blade. And then just finding somewhere useful to stop, taking a ujjayi, a couple of deep breaths. And then when you're ready, you can sort of return yourself to a more neutral shape. Let the right arm relax. Slide the left arm to the left and then roll onto your back, the knees into the chest. And this time we're going to bring the knees together, hands on the knees and making small circles going in one direction. So you feel yourself rocking on your sacrum, and then small circles in the opposite direction as well. Just developing that awareness in the back of the body. Then releasing the feet to the floor one at a time. If you did wide leg swaying from side to side last time, bringing the knees together and just doing a little gentle twisting one side and then the other. Firm in the belly, not trying to get into any particular shape, just allowing the body to move within a really comfortable range of movement. It's much more therapeutic than trying to reach the very edges. Awesome stuff. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, we will separate the feet for our bridge pose though. Elbows down by the sides of the body, rolling the backs of the arms and shoulders into the floor, really pressing down with them, gently down with the back of the head. Lift your chest first, and then press into the heels and use the buttocks to bring the hips up and making hula hoops with your hips. So hula hooping here, instead of going up and down, going around and around. Keeping that effort in the upper body. Just check you're not gripping your jaw and going the opposite direction as well. And you can do this to make quite a back bend, or do it more softly like I am today if you prefer. When you're ready, you can bring your hips back down to the center, and we're going to roll the knees to the left and roll the body to the left, and then press through the hands to come up to sitting upright in our deer pose, making sure that the left shin is across the body, the right shin pointing backwards. Bring ourselves into robot arms, drawing the shoulder blades together, a little firmness in the belly, and then just rotating or twisting to the right, and then coming back to center, placing the left hand down, lifting the hips and taking the right arm around one time. Back to the center, robot arms, rotate to the right. Almost too much alliteration. Back to center, place the left hand down, firm in the belly and the buttocks as you lift for one right arm rotation. Back to robot arms, one more twist. Back to center, pressing down into the left arm, press down into the shins, and take one rotation. Coming back to center, swinging the right leg forward. And again, just taking a moment here to observe that coming to stillness, coming to center, and absorbing all of the work that we've done. For a couple of deep breaths. Now I'm going to turn on my mat, so I'm at the back of my mat. Yes. And then here, the right leg is in front of the left, turning to the left, taking the left hand behind you, pivoting on your toes and coming into a nice deep squat, but supported with the hands in front of you. A little bit of a shimmer from side to side, just transferring the weight from one side to the other. You can even transfer the weight between the hands a little if you'd like, and getting some nice nurturing into those hips. From here, we're going to reach the hands as far forward as feels comfortable, almost like you were going to fall forward. And at that point, pressing the heels towards the floor to uncurl the body into a downward facing dog. Wide feet in the down dog, you can bring them more together if you would like to, and then paddling through your down dog. Here at the same time, pressing through your hands so your chest is pressed back towards your thighs. You're pressing into the fingertips, the heels of the hands, keeping the elbows just a touch soft so they're not locked. Lifting in your tailbone, lifting in the belly muscles. You can turn the head from side to side if there's anything stuck in your neck. And just keeping that paddling going from side to side. And then from here, we're going to take the knees to the mat. So the knees will be nice and wide, the toes stay tucked under, and just circling your belly button around the mat a few times in this direction, and then reversing to go in the other direction as well. Here in the center, we're going to bring the knees a little bit closer together, reach the hands a touch further forward, and just do one or two kneeling waving vinyasas. So dropping the hips towards the heels, and then pressing off the toes, rounding through the spine. When the shoulders come over the hands, imagine you're drawing your hands backwards to open your chest, and then lift through the belly, press through the hands to come back through hands and knees, and drop the hips to the heels. Let's do two more like that. Pressing off to round through the spine, looking back towards the knees, and then drawing the hands back, firming the buttocks, opening the chest, pressing back up and into our crouching dog position. One more time, rolling forward, opening the chest. And this time here, just doing a little sway of the head or the shoulders from side to side. Keep very firm in the buttocks and the belly muscles. And then coming back to center, lifting all the way back into your crouching dog pose. Firming the hands into the floor and coming back up into downward facing dog. So here, just seeing if your down dog is a little bit more comfortable. Often it is when we've engaged the muscles in the back of the body, particularly the low back and the buttocks, it can be more comfortable, but giving yourself a little paddle through the dog anyway. And if you're ready to find a place to hold, then you can. If you're not, then just keep walking. But if you're ready to find a place to hold, then taking a couple of deep breaths. And then we're going to walk our feet towards our hands. So we come into a standing forward bend, but we're going to widen the feet. So almost mat width apart, widening the feet, holding elbow to elbow or turning the backs of the hands towards the floor, knees as soft as you need. And you can either sway a little from side to side with your upper body, or you might like to hold, or you might like to paddle through the backs of the legs, or you might like to simply hold still. Whichever position you're in, just making sure your weight is in your toes as well as your heels, balanced across the foot, a little lift in the belly. And then when you're ready, you can either roll up, bending the knees deeply, or hinge up, whatever feels useful to you. To standing, taking the hands to Namaste, and just drawing the chin towards the chest for a moment to breathe in and out, letting all of the blood get back to where it's supposed to be. And then when you're ready, you can raise your head, release your hands, open your eyes. Awesome sauce, guys. So let me adjust the clothing. Everybody probably needs to after that. We're going to go with our sun salutations from here. So I will step back with my right leg first. I'll be along the right side of the mat, but I'm going to do them facing this way. It's going to be mostly linear today. So it's going to be mostly up and down the straights, the long, you know what I mean, facing the short end of the mat. I'm hoping you know what I mean. Okay. On this first round, we want to have the feet nice and wide apart. Okay. So that's why we've stepped forward and taken this stance. Turning the palms of the hands forward. And it's not going to be a classic sun salutation. It's going to be like a vinyasa based around the sun salutation. Let's go with that. And we'll start with a little firmness in the belly, the pelvic floor, perhaps a touch of effort in the buttocks, pressing the balls of the feet down so we can engage that space in the underneath the arches and lift up from there to the crown of the head. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Inhaling, taking the arms up over the head. And exhaling, drawing the hands down to the center of the chest. From here, inhale again, reaching up, opening the chest. And then exhale, soft in the knees to bend forward into a forward bend. Here, placing the hands towards the floor and stepping your right foot back, taking the right knee down, and we're going to circle the hips. So I'm just actually going to go backwards and forwards, but you guys can hula hoop your hips if that feels useful. If you would like to go backwards and forwards, you can. Maybe I'll do a little hula hooping. And when we hula hoop, we're actually probably using the sole of the left foot. So I come off my toes just onto the heels and then roll around the sole of the left foot, different parts of the left foot on the floor. And then going in the opposite direction, I tend to push off my right foot, keeping the left foot more still. And you can find your own way, that's okay. You don't need to do it exactly like this. And so once we've done a little bit of hip circling, we're going to come back to our center, hands firmly on the floor, untuck the back leg and take the front leg back. So we're in plank pose and we're just going to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Then take knees to the floor, lift the hips as if you were sticking your bottom out, almost dropping your bottom backwards a little bit, and then bend only the elbows to bring your chest and chin to the floor. Once you're down, then untucking your legs so that your hips can lay flat, and we're in the perfect position for doing a cobra, firming the tops of the feet and the buttocks, rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, just pressing into the hands to lift the head and shoulders a little bit from the mat, and then releasing back down again. From here, we're going to tuck the toes under, come to hands and knees, and drop the hips all the way back towards the heels, and keeping the hands really firmly into the floor, untucking the legs, just as we did when we came from sitting into down dog earlier. So now if you feel your down dog feet are too far from your hands, you can step them forward, that's okay, and do a little paddling through your dog. And if you can, let your shoulders wiggle as well, so you get a little wriggle through the spine. Let your shoulders wiggle. I hope you know what I mean. Press into one heel and one hand more than the other. Smashing stuff. So in down dog, we're just holding for a few breaths. Want to focus on the shoulder blades being nice and secure, the heels of the hands, the tips of the fingers, lifting in the belly, lifting in the tailbone, and then coming back to the center. We've got our feet together-ish. And so we're going to bounce the hips to the heels and then press forward to bring the shoulders over the hands. And then bounce the hips back to the heels, press forward, shoulders over the hands. Hips to heels, press forward, shoulders over the hands. And then this time, if you want to, you can step your right foot forward. And we're simply going to let the left knee stay down, open the chest as we look forward, transfer the weight into the front leg as we step forward. And here in the forward bend, widen the feet again. So the feet are nice and wide apart. Hold elbow to elbow or turn the backs of the hands to the floor. Give a little sway with the upper body. And when you're ready to come up, coming to center, bending the knees, perhaps rolling up through the spine, pressing into the feet. And when you're finished, reaching the arms over the head. Taking a deep breath in, and as you exhale, bring the hands to Namaste. Relax the arms and just take a moment. So in this, excuse me as I adjust the clothing of the upper body. So there's much less direction of breath with this. I'd like you to find your own way to breathe. You will naturally perhaps find that you breathe in as you open the body and breathe out as you close the body, but it doesn't matter if it happens another way around for you. So just exploring your natural pattern of breath. Smashing stuff. So here we are, we're ready for round side number 2, turning the palms forward, legs are nice and wide apart. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up over the head, and exhale, bring the hands down to the center of the chest. Firm the belly and the buttocks, and then inhale, reach straight up, and exhale, fold forward from the hips, soften knees if you need to, hands to feet and head to knees. Hands straight to the floor, inhale as you step the left foot back and take your knee down, and then making your hula hooping hips. Very good. And we're going to hula hoop a few more times in this direction, because I'm sure I spoke for longer on the other side, before changing direction and going the opposite way as well. And then when you're ready, you can come back to the center, place the hands firmly, untuck the back knee, and step your front leg back so that both feet are at the back of the mat, and you're in plank pose for a deep breath in, firm belly, firm buttocks, deep breath out. Then you're going to release the knees to the mat and bring your bottom backwards a little bit, so that if you end up with your shoulders ahead of your fingers, what you want to do is bring them slightly behind and then bend your elbows only to bring your chest and chin to the floor. It's great practice for building up to chaturangas. Allow your hips to release down, and then rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, firming the buttocks, firming the feet down, pressing into the floor to lift the chest and head up into a low cobra. We'll take a deep breath in and out here. Come down to the mat first and then into hands and knees. Taking the buttocks back to the heels, tucking the toes under, and just as you're about to touch the forehead to the floor, uncurling your legs into your downward facing dog, stepping the feet in a little bit if you need to. Do a little paddle through the dog on this side as well, just to ease any tension out of the body. And prepare, because we're going to do lots of lovely dog variations as we go through our sequence. When you're ready, you can bring your feet together or towards each other. Bend your knees to drop your bottom to your heels, and then press forward, shoulders over the hands. Bend the knees, bounce back to the heels, press forward. We'll do one more, bend the knees, press forward, and then we're going to bounce forward with the left foot. Take the right knee to the floor, open the chest, and then transfer your weight into the front foot to step into a forward bend, but with the feet hip width apart. In your forward bend, take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and then to come up, either bending the knees and rolling up or hinging from the hips. Taking a deep breath, reach the arms over the head and exhale as you bring the hands to the center of the chest. Release the arms, turn the palms forward. So from now on, we're going to do different variations in our downward dog. We're not going to stay in the lunges for hula hooping. This time we're going to do just backwards and forwards with our lunges. And then we will do down dog variations, turning the heels to one side and doing bending knees. So this is the variation on this round. Awesome stuff. Turning the palms forward. Inhale as you stand tall, activate your core muscles. Exhale the hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, reach up, open the front of the body. Exhale, fold forward. In your forward bend, hands to feet, head to knees. Inhale, step the right foot back, knee to the floor as you open your chest, and then allow your breath to find its natural rhythm as you swing your hips backwards and forwards. So here you can lift the left toes from the floor if you want to as you come backwards, or you can keep the left toes down, whichever is most comfortable for you. And a little bit of both is useful. The next time you bring your hips back, stay back and just give them a little wiggle from side to side, so like you're shaking your tail, and just feel the hamstrings, the ones that are not in the center of the leg, getting a bit of action as well. Coming forward, opening your chest again, placing the hands flat, untucking the back knee and stepping into plank pose for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. You can come to the mat any way you like. Knees, chest, forehead, or chaturanga down if you want to. Point your toes, firm your belly and buttocks, roll the shoulder blades towards each other to open the chest. And then coming through hands and knees, exhaling up into downward facing dog. Here in down dog, we want to take the feet quite far apart, so we've got lots of space. And then you can continue to paddle anytime you need to, but coming up onto the tiptoes, we're going to let the heels come down to the right side, and then just bend the knees deeply, still pressing into the hands, and straighten the legs. Let's do two more, bending the knees deeply, straighten the legs. Lovely side stretch of the left side of the body. Straighten the legs and then back to center. And here we're going to bounce forward once and then step forward. So bending the knees, hips to heels, bounce the shoulders forward once. And then with the right leg, stepping forward. Open your chest as you look forward. We're going to swing our hips backwards and forwards again. So just as we did on the opposite side as we step the leg back, we're drawing the hips to the heels, lengthening the front leg, toes up or toes down, combination of both is good. And doing whatever you need in your upper body for support. A little backwards and forwards. The next time the hips are back, giving your tailbone a little swing from side to side. I just love this. This is one of those things that has revolutionized my hamstring stretching. There we are. And then pressing off the back leg to come forward, open your chest, lift off the back knee and step forward with both feet to the front, hip width apart with the legs for a deep breath in and out in your forward bend. Coming up any way you choose as you inhale to standing, reaching the arms over the head, and then exhale the hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, release the arms, turn the palms forward. Exhale, hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up firm in your center, and exhale as you fold or drape yourself down into your forward bend. Inhale, step the left foot back, knee to the mat, and open your chest, and then let your breath go. And we're going to lift and lower our back leg. So elasticated lunges. So lifting the back knee, and then not the leg, just the knee. Lifting and lowering. So if you can, try not to quite touch down your knee, and try to only flirt with a straightish leg. So you don't want to lock the knee straight, you just want to lift and lower. Lift and lower, feel what it accesses at the front of that thigh and the hip flexor. It's really lovely. Wonderful stuff. And then this time we'll leave the knee off the mat, firm the hands into the floor, step into plank for a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And then knees, chest, forehead or chin, or coming through chaturanga. Firm the tops of the feet and the buttocks, roll the shoulder blades towards each other to open your chest. And from here in Cobra, coming into downward facing dog via hands and knees or not as you choose. Feet are a nice comfortable distance apart, so you've got plenty of room to turn the heels. You're going to come onto the balls of the feet and then drop the heels to the left. Bend the knees so the hips come towards the heels and straighten the legs. Let's do two more, bending the knees. Keep pressing into the hands so you get that lovely length down the right side of the body. And then coming back onto your center feet, bending the knees to take the bottom to the heels, bouncing yourself forward once, and then this time stepping forward with the left foot, taking the right knee not quite to the floor, and we're elasticating lunges on this side as well. So lifting and lowering, just not quite touching the floor, not quite locking the leg straight, and just feeling that, it's creating a sense of space, a sense of engagement, a sense of vibrancy in that right hip flexor and thigh. And then when you're ready, you can transfer your weight into your left foot to stand into a forward bend. We'll hold the forward bend for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then when you're ready, coming up any way you choose, inhaling, reaching the arms over the head, and exhaling the hands to the center of the chest. Very good. Taking a moment as you stand in Tadasana. This time we're going to do a little side plank variation in our planks. Hurrah! So if you want to, at this point, you can interlace your fingers and do a little wrist release, which is quite nice, particularly as we've spent the most of the last month focused on the low body and the pelvis. So doing a little wrist release now is good. And so we're going to do a side plank variation, and we're going to do a three-legged dog variation as well. Very lovely. Okay, turning the palms of the hands forward, standing tall, engaging through your center, inhaling, exhaling the hands to the center of the chest, inhaling, reaching up, opening the front of the body, exhale as you fold or drape over into a forward bend. Inhale, step your right foot back, knee to the mat as you open the chest. We're stepping right back into plank with the left foot as well. So here in plank pose, we're going to separate the feet, just as we did for our downward dog on the opposite side. We're going to drop the heels to the left and take the right hand to the hip or up into the air. Now, if that feels really toughy, just bend your left knee and place the knee down so you're almost in like a baby wild thing instead. And in fact, if you want to do this variation, that's all good. But if you can do it with your feet long, that's great. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out, and then taking the right hand to the floor, pivoting on the toes to come back into plank pose, and then exhaling, knees, chest, forehead or chin. Point the toes, roll the shoulder blades together, lift the chest open, and in Cobra, we're going to hold for a deep breath in, press into the hands, deep breath out, come almost down to the floor, tuck the toes under, and come up into downward facing dog. In downward dog, we want the feet to be together or in that general direction, firm in the hands, lifting in the center, and then taking your weight onto your left leg, pointing the right toes back, lifting your right toes up to wherever feels comfortable. Now, it's sometimes harder to do with the legs very, very straight. So soften your left knee rather, and just bounce on the left knee as you lift and lower the right leg. Now, if you're able to, you're going to step from here all the way forward into the lunge. So on your next lift, drawing your right knee into your chest and stepping the right foot all the way forward, we're going to lower the left leg to the mat, open the chest, deep breath in. And as you breathe out, transfer your weight into a forward bend. Hold the forward bend for a deep breath in, deep breath out. And then to come up, breathing in, lifting the arms over the head and exhaling, hands to the center of the chest. Same thing on the other side. Inhale in Tadasana, palms turned forward. Exhaling the hands together at the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, firm in your belly, and exhale as you fold, hands to feet, head to knees. Inhale, step the left foot back, knee to the mat as you open your chest, and then come into plank pose. Keep breathing. Make sure your feet are a reasonable distance apart. Transfer your heels to the right. Take your left hand off the floor, reach it up. If that's too much, just bring your right knee to the floor to give you some support. No problem at all. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then the left hand comes down, bringing the feet back to center and exhaling, knees, chest, chin or forehead. Point the toes as you roll the shoulder blades towards each other, open into a gentle cobra for a deep breath in. Firm in the buttocks, firm in the feet, deep breath out. Come almost to the floor, tuck the toes under and into downward facing dog. Feet are closer together. We're going to take our weight onto the right foot, point the left toes backwards, lift the left leg up, and then get nice and buoyant on that right knee, bouncing up and down. And just feeling the difference between, usually people have a lot of weight in their hands in down dog. This encourages you more into your legs. When you're ready, stepping forward with the left foot, taking the right knee down as you open your chest, deep breath in. And as you exhale, bringing the right foot forward into a forward bend. A deep breath in and out. And then on your next breath in, coming up to standing. And exhaling the hands to the center of the chest. Taking a little rest, releasing the wrists if they need it, a little bit of releasing or interlaced figure of eighting, whatever feels good to you. So on this round, we're going to do a further side plank variation. So it will be much as before, dropping the knees and coming here, but instead you can stack the legs and raise the top leg and do a tree pose if you want to. But you can also do that here. You can't maybe do tree pose, but you can lift the top leg if you want to. So use the variation that feels like it's most useful for you. and I'm re-chalking my mat a lot. I've made the studio really warm today, so sorry about that. And then in our downward dog, we're going to do our three-legged dog variation with a bent leg and then come into fallen triangle. So if you are unsure of that, that looks a little bit like this. So we lift the leg, we stack one hip on top of the other, bend the knee to begin with, and then we come back the way we've come, back the way we went, bend the knee into the chest and step it underneath the arm so that we can lift into another side variation. I know you can sense a theme there. Okay, super deep. So let's do this one time to each side. We're going to add a Cobra variation as well, but we'll do it, it's actually a locust variation, but instead of our Cobras. So coming to the front of your mat, turning the palms forward, lengthening through the crown of the head, inhaling firm in the belly, exhale the hands to Namaste. Inhale, reaching up, opening your chest. Exhale as you fold forward from your hips, hands to feet, head to knees. Inhale, step the right foot back, keep your knee off the mat as you look forward, and then from here, come into plank pose, feet nice and wide apart. We're going to allow the feet to come down to the left side. So we take the right arm off the floor and turn our bodies to the right. We're pressing down and lifting with the hips. And if you want to, you can stack the feet one on top of the other. And if you want to, you can lift the right leg up, still create space underneath the body. So you make a star shape. And if that feels comfortable, you can bring yourself into a tree on your side. Whatever you choose, deep breath in, deep breath out. Then replacing your right hand to the floor, pivoting on your toes, back to plank, which suddenly feels very restful. And then knees, chest, forehead, or chin to the floor. When you come down, reach your hands over your head and take your forehead to the mat. Bring your feet towards each other. Press the toes and the top of the foot and the pubic bone down into the mat, firm in the buttocks. Inhale, lift the arms and head up, but keep the legs down, and exhale, lower. Take the hands out at shoulder height. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Take the arms down by the hips, palms turned upwards. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. One more time through, arms over the head. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Arms out to the side. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Arms down by the sides, palms turned up. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Hands either side of the chest. Press into the hands, through hands and knees if you'd like, into downward facing dog. And here in downward facing dog, the feet are close together. We're pressing into the hands, firm in the belly, lifting the right leg up. And when the right leg gets as high as feels comfortable, the hips are squarish, but we're going to roll the right hip on top of the left hip to open up that side of the pelvis and bring the heel of the right foot towards the buttock, bending the knee. Press through the arms still. So still into the fingertips, still into the heels of the hands. And then from here, lengthening the right leg, drawing the hips square, bringing the right knee forward towards the nose, and then turning onto the inside of the left foot as you step your right hand underneath the left arm and foot and reach the left arm up into the air. Press through, that's the side of the body. So you lift your left hip, you lift, pressing into the right hand and the left leg. And then taking the left hand back to the mat, pivoting on your toes, come back into a three-legged dog, lifting the right leg up behind you. From here, bounce on your left knee once or twice. And when you're ready, you can step your right foot forward to your hands. Take your left knee down. We're going to leave the left hand on the floor and just make a gentle rotation with the right arm. We'll do two more. Nice little twist, expansive arm movement. Gives us a bit of a rest. Turn back to the front, untuck the back toes, Press off the back foot, transfer the weight forward into a standing forward bend for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then inhaling to come up, lifting in the belly, reaching the arms up. Exhaling the hands down to the center of the chest. Inhale, release the arms, palms turned forward. Exhale, hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, opening the front of the body. Exhale as you fold forward, soft knees if you need to in your forward bend. Inhale, step your left foot back, keep the knee off the mat, and then exhale, exhale back into plank. Feet nice and wide. So this time, we are going to let the heels come down to the right side. So we lift the left arm up in our side plank, really firming that space underneath the body, taking the right knee to the floor if you need to, or stepping the left foot on top of the right. If you can, lifting that left foot up, lifting underneath the right hip, or bringing the left foot to the right thigh, reaching the left arm over in tree pose. Whatever you choose, deep breath in, deep breath out, and then releasing the legs, left foot down to the floor, and then knees, chest, forehead or chin to the floor. In your resting position on the belly, reach the arms over the head. We're going to lift the legs as well as the arms this time. So firm the pubic bone down, firm the belly, buttock muscles, sorry. And then as you inhale, lift arms, legs and head, and exhale down. Arms out at shoulder height. Inhale, lift legs and head and arms. Exhale down. Arms down by the sides, palms turned upwards. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. One more time through from the top. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Arms out to the side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Arms down to the hips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Hands underneath the shoulders and pressing through hands and knees if you like into downward facing dog. Take your feet towards each other. Do a little wiggle in your dog if you need to, if you've got any tension in your low body. And then pointing the left toes backwards, right foot taking the weight, lifting the left leg up as high as feels comfortable. And when you are up there, your hips are pretty square, but we're going to stack the left hip on top of the right and then draw the left heel towards the buttocks. And feel that you're still pressing into the hands evenly for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Then lengthening that left leg, drawing the hips to be square, drawing the knee towards the nose, and as you do, just transferring your weight onto the inside of the right leg. Step the left foot underneath the body and reach the right arm up into the air for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then taking the right hand back to the floor, pivoting on the right toes, come back into a three-legged dog and bouncing on your right knee a couple of times until you feel ready to step the left foot forward. Taking the right knee to the mat, keep the right hand down, and then twisting to the left as you make 3 big sweeping slow circles with your left hand. Keep pressing keep the feet strong, the legs strong as you do this. And then looking forward for a deep breath in, untuck the back toes, deep breath out as you step both feet to the front, and then hold in your forward bend for a couple of deep breaths. Maybe release the back of the neck, a little nodding, a little shaking. And then when you're ready, breathing in, looking forward, coming up, and exhaling the hands to the center of the chest. Release your arms, maybe interlace the fingers if you want to do a little bit of wrist releasing. Excellent work with the side planks, everybody. Good job. So if you need to give your wrists a little bit of a rub, that's good, or a little bit of a shakeout, that's fine too. We just don't want to carry tension from one practice into the other. Super duper. Okay. So eventually we will work towards wild things with our three-legged dog. But this time I'd like to do a little rotation instead. So I'll show you what I mean. We'll see if it works. Okay, so this time, similar sort of thing, but from our three-legged dog, we're going to bend the knee into the chest and then see if we can rotate and take the right hand off the floor and the left leg off the floor at the same time, and then rotate back to three-legged dog. And we'll see if we can, oh, she says, see if we can do it once or twice. Very good. Okay. So it's a little practice of taking weight and rotating with that weight, particularly on the shoulder. If you feel that that's not going to suit you, then you can do the downward facing dog where we took the heels to one side, bending and straightening the legs. That sort of squatting dog is a great alternative. We'll keep everything else nice and simple, and then we'll focus on this. So coming to the front of the mat for our last round of sun salutations. Turning the palms forward, lengthening through the crown of the head, inhaling here, exhaling the hands to the center of the chest, inhaling, reaching up, opening the front of the body, exhaling as you fold forward and down. Inhale, step the right foot back, keep the knee off the mat, press into the hands and come into plank pose. From plank, exhale, knees, chest and chin, or do chaturanga to the floor. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other, a gentle low cobra. But in the cobra, perhaps just gently turning the head from one side to the other and the shoulders from one side to the other. It's quite a nice thing to do to release. Coming back to the center, almost taking the forehead to the floor and then pressing into downward facing dog. So here, the feet come towards each other. If you want to, you can give yourself a little paddle. And then we're going to work with the right leg first. It means I'm going to turn away from you, but it's just the way it goes. So we're taking the right leg up behind us into our nice three-legged dog. And we can do the twisted variation. So we can roll the right hip on top of the left, bend the knee as well. That helps us to open up the spaces that we're going to then use for control here. So coming back to having a straighter right leg, squaring the hips, drawing the right knee into the chest, and we pivot onto the inside of the left foot. Take the left heel to the floor this time, kick the right leg through and reach the left leg long. And then we're going to press off the right hand and the left leg and come back into a three-legged dog. So if you want to hop your left foot in a little bit to bring your foot towards your hands, it could be useful. So same thing again, draw the right knee into the chest, pivot on your left foot so the left heel comes to the floor, kick your right leg and left arm long, and then pivot to come back to three-legged dog. One more time if you've got it in you. Coming forward, pivoting, and then back into three-legged dog. From three-legged dog, bouncing on the left knee to then step the right leg all the way forward. Keep the left knee off the ground, coming into that open lunge and making 3 circles with your right hand. Oh, feels so restful. Very good. Looking forward when you're finished your circling, stepping onto the front foot, coming into a standing forward bend, taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. To come up, inhale, lift the belly, lift the arms, lift the chest. Exhale the hands to namaste. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, turn the palms forward, stand in Tadasana. Exhale, hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up and opening the front of the body. Exhale as you fold forward and down. Inhale, step the left foot back, knee stays off the mat as you open the chest, and then step back into plank pose. From plank, a very simple knees, chest, forehead, or chaturanga to the floor. And then here, taking the hands wider than your mat. Roll the pubic bone and the tops of the feet down. Press into the hands to open the chest And again, a little gentle sway in this wide-armed cobra. Wide-armed. Elbows are still bent, shoulders are still working down the back, or shoulder blades anyway. And back to center and releasing the head towards the floor, hands underneath the chest to come back into downward facing dog. Stepping the feet towards each other so that we can work with our left leg, making sure the hands are really secure. That's why working with the fingertips and the heels of the hands is important. Making sure not to lock the elbows, because rigid body structures aren't pliable. And then pointing the left toes back, lifting the left leg up, stacking the left hip on top of the right hip, bending the left heel towards the buttock, making sure the arms are still strong. Deep breath in and out here. And then lengthening your left leg, dropping the hip to be square, drawing the left knee towards your nose, turn onto the sole of your right foot, heel to the floor, kick your left and right arm long. Nice, good work, girls. And then pivoting back into your three-legged dog. All of that transferring of weight on our feet over this last month has been great training. 2 more times. Draw the left knee in, pivot on your foot, take your weight into that arm and leg and press up. And then pivot again, back to three-legged dog. Mine's getting longer, so I'm going to hop my right foot in. 1 more time, bending the left knee in, pivoting, pressing into that left arm, kicking forward, and then back to your three-legged dog. And then bouncing on your right knee once, twice, and stepping the left foot forward, keeping the right knee off the mat, but keep the right foot, hands down rather, and then make your 3 beautiful arm circles. That left arm and shoulder and wrist really need that release. And then coming back to center, looking forward, transfer your weight so that you can come into your standing forward bend, widen your feet, hold elbow to elbow, and just gently sway the upper body from side to side. Here, if you want to, you can place the palms of your hands underneath the soles of your feet. A really classic energetic hold for the standing forward bend. It aligns the chakras on the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet, so you create an energetic circuit in the body. Or you can simply just turn the backs of the hands towards the floor, maybe shaking your head no, nodding your head yes to release any tension from the back of the neck. When you're ready, bending the knees deeply, pressing into the soles of the feet, the heels of the feet, rolling up 1 vertebra at a time. And at the top of the movement, perhaps you need to bring the hands to the chest and just rest if you're dizzy, but if you're not, reaching the arms out and up, looking up, and then bringing the hands to the center of the chest. And if you've been waiting because you're dizzy, you can always do that as an add-on whenever it's comfortable for you to do that. We're going to leave the hands in Namaste, draw the chin towards the chest, just to feel that gentle length down the back of the neck. And here, maybe rolling the right ear gently towards the right shoulder and back to the chest, chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder, and chin to chest. A little bit side to side. Finishing with your chin towards your chest, and in your own time, lift your head, release your arms. If your eyes were closed, open your eyes. It's all good. Fantastic stuff. Shake out the wrists if they need a shake out. Give them a wriggle if they need a wriggle. And we are going to come to the mat for a little winding down. Of course. So it's approaching a relaxation time, which we really deserve after all of that vigorous practice. So be sure to have a blanket or similar close by. Maybe you need a jumper or a set of cozy socks. If you've got a block, that is useful. And we will use this one to do a variety of different supported bridges today. So when you're ready, coming down onto your mat, just taking your time, it's okay. We're not going anywhere fast. Rolling to the floor. You can start with your knees bent in towards you, doing a little bit of circling of the knees, massaging that space in the low back. We want to massage in both directions. We want to create a little softness and pliability in those muscles that we have expected so much from during this practice. So when you've circled your knees a couple of times in each direction, just floating the feet to the floor, and then wrapping the right arm over the left arm to drape the fingers towards the floor. And here, gently turning the nose from one side to the other, feeling that space between the shoulder blades, maybe lengthening the chin towards the chest a little, taking a couple of deep breaths. Can you relax your face? Let go of any tension in your jaw, maybe sigh out through your mouth. Very good. And then reach the arms wide. Allow the knees to sway a little from side to side, just a touch. We're not trying to get into a twist as such, just doing a little sway from side to side. And when you're ready, you can bring your knees back to center, cross the left arm over the right arm. Let the arms drape. Again, find that length, perhaps at the back of the neck, between the shoulder blades. A little sway of the nose from side to side. Or a dip of the chin towards the chest if that feels useful for you. And when you're ready, you can hold in the center for a couple of deep breaths. You don't have to sigh out through your mouth if you don't want to. It's all good. Releasing the arms wide. And we're going to take our blocks and turn them so that we will support on the medium height, but allow the length of the block to be up and down the spine. So if you rest your block on top of your belly button, the block is linear with the spine as opposed to horizontal. It's vertical, vertical with the spine, and that's where the block will be underneath the body. So we're going to gently press into the heels to lift the buttocks and slide the block underneath the body so it's along the length of the spine. We don't want it too high up, so it's fine to have the block underneath the buttocks and poking out maybe a little bit underneath the buttocks as it comes down towards the knees. But we're balancing on the block against the sacrum behind the body. So the sacrum is what's supported. It isn't the sides of the hips, and a little bit along the length of the spine is just fine. Reach the arms out to the side to wherever is comfortable for you, turning the palms up, and just spend a moment getting comfortable in this position. Now, if this feels too high for your back, that's okay. You're going to lift your hips, turn your block to its lower setting, and it doesn't matter where it falls for that. So it can be across the buttocks, across the back of the pelvis. And it won't make very much difference to what we do, but if you find it too high, then that is the alternative. So having rested in this position for a few breaths, we're going to explore moving with our legs here. So lengthening your right leg out so that your left foot is still on the floor, supporting and making sure you feel balanced where your block is on your back. If that feels comfortable to lengthen your right leg out, you might want to explore a little bit further. You can always come back to this position, but if you want to, you can bring your left knee towards you, hold your left knee with your left arm and just draw it towards you as much as feels comfortable. If you want to balance on your sacrum, you can lift your right heel off the floor, just like 0.5 centimetre. Or you can leave it on the floor if you prefer. If you would like to do something therapeutic for your sacroiliac joint, you can tap your heel, that's your right heel, sideways towards the left and then out to the right again. Just moving almost like you were swinging your leg but tapping the heel. So this is a really good way to settle that space in the back. But otherwise you can just simply hold. Try and relax all the other effort from your body. And then when you're ready, you can release the left leg so the foot comes to the floor. Turn the right foot up and just slide the right foot back in towards you. Take a moment to stabilize the pelvis in the center space before lengthening the left leg. And don't be worried if your body behaves differently on the two sides. So this might feel perfect, but just enough. Or if you want to, you can bend your right knee in towards you and hold your right knee towards you with your right hand. It doesn't matter whether the foot is on the floor or not. You can float your left heel off the floor if that feels comfortable, or you can tap the left heel towards the right and then out to the left, or any combination of these, or simply leave your left heel on the floor. Try to release the effort as much as you can from the other areas of the body. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Release the right foot to the floor if you are holding the knee up, and then turning the left toes to point upwards, slide your left heel in. Now, if you've been on this higher setting of the block, we want to turn the block for a moment. If you've been on a lower setting, you can simply enjoy a little few extra breaths in the supported bridge. So if you're on the higher setting of the block, lifting the hips only enough to turn the block onto its lowest setting, and then release the sacrum and the back of the hips down onto the block. And it might feel a bit odd because you're now supporting across the whole of the pelvis, but that's all good. If you'd like to, you can stretch both legs long here. Release the arms or use the hands to give a little heat and contact and massage to the hip flexors, just underneath those pointy hip bones that stick out at the front of the pelvis. So if that feels comfortable, you can do that. It's incredibly therapeutic. And then when you're ready, you can slide your feet in one at a time. Take one more deep breath in and out. And then as subtly and gently as you can, lifting the hips to remove that block, placing the block to one side. If you don't need to put your blanket on, don't. If you want to, you can. Ready to lengthen the legs into Shavasana. If you don't need to use your bolster or cushions underneath the back of the legs today, then feel free to lie in Shavasana proper. This is what we're aiming towards, being able to lie comfortably flat on the back. Arms wide, released away from the body, palms turned upwards, feet apart with the toes falling outwards if that suits you. Closing your eyes, gently swaying your nose from side to side. When you're ready, bringing your head back to center and bringing your body to stillness. Take a deep breath in and sigh out through your mouth. Repeat 2 or 3 more times. A deep breath in. Let your effort go. A deep breath in. Let your muscles begin to relax. And that last deep breath in, surrendering down into your mat. Allow your breath to find its natural, spontaneous rhythm and fall away into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead. Feel it soften and spread. Feel the area around your eyes relaxing, your mouth, tongue, jaw releasing. Allow the whole body to feel heavy, warm, supported and releasing down. Allow your breath to find a natural, slow rhythm. Breathing in love, breathing out peace. Breathing in love, breathing out peace. Relaxing a little deeper with every exhalation. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back to your hands and your feet by wiggling your fingers and toes. If you want to, you can roll your ankles, roll your wrists. And then when you feel ready, taking a deep breath in and stretching the body, maybe stretching the face into yawn, stretching the body in any way that feels good. Maybe pressing the low back down into the mat. In your own time, you can bend your knees into your chest, hug them towards you. Make any movements that feel good with your back. And whenever you're ready, just rolling to one side. Taking a moment, just resting on the side. And then when you're ready, coming into any comfortable seated position, bringing the palms of the hands together and rubbing them slowly but firmly, building up some heat in the hands, continuing to press firmly, rubbing perhaps a little quicker. And as the heat begins to build, maybe rubbing a little quicker still. When the hands feel warm, resting the hands over the eyes, feeling that warmth soften and release the area around the eyes, blinking into your palms a few times, releasing your hands down when you're ready to open your eyes. Thank you for joining me in this yoga practice. I wish you all a happy Easter. Namaste.